こんにちは、杉田博です。
Hi, I'm Ina, and welcome to 英語会話Ⅱ。
英語会話にですね、英語会話にでは毎月最後の週にはイギリスの BBC 放送制作のテレビ映画、Bid for Power をお送りすることになっております。今日はそのエピソード6ですね。
That's right, we're going to be watching Bid for Power. But first, an overview of our story, which centers on the island of Tanaku. Quartz sand has been discovered there, and it seems you can make all kinds of good stuff from that. The National Development Agency there is very interested in developing this resource, an idea that a lot of people share.
はい、この物語の舞台はタナクという島なんですね。で、ここで石英砂が発見されます。で、これの開発をめぐっていろんなことが起こりますけれども、国家開発庁がいろんなところの助けを借りて開発をしようと、こう乗り出していくわけです。
Now let's go from the national to the international. In San Francisco, we have Faulkner Enterprises, and David Rose is working there, and his approach to developing the quartz sand is to form a consortium, or consortium.
はい、国際的な、開発の競争になりますけれども、まずアメリカからは、Faulkner Enterprises が乗り出してきます。で、活躍するのがデイビッド・ローズでして、これが他の会社とコンソーティアム、もしくはコンソーシアムを組もうとするわけです。
Meanwhile, in Japan, we have a rival group, the Pansel Corporation, and working for Pansel is Mr. Watanabe and their agent in Tanaku, Mr. Ferguson, who's just a bit sneaky. You might want to keep your eye on him.
はい、日本から乗り出していくのが、Pansel Corporation ですが、その副社長が渡辺さんです。そしてタナクにはPansel Corporationの代理をしているフェルガソンという人がいますが、これがちょっとしたくせ者的な人物になります。
And in Germany, we have other interested parties. Today, we'll be seeing Gerhard Lehner and Karl Engel.
はい、ドイツからコンソーティアムに参加しようというのが、会社が2つありますけれども、人々ここに2人乗っかっていますね。ゲルハード・レーナーとそれからカール・エンゲルです。そういうわけですね。大体の筋がお分かりかと思います。それではフィルムをご覧いただきましょう。ごゆっくりどうぞ。
And now let's watch episode 6, Forming a Consortium.
Morning, everyone. Morning, Harry. Morning. Oh, now, I'd called this meeting to discuss the Tanaku Silicon project. I've asked David Rose to join us.
Morning, David.
I guess you read his report?
Yes, we were just talking about it.
Well, as you know, then, David recommends that we form a consortium and make a turnkey bid for the contract. Now, I don't like working with other companies if we can avoid it. But I want to know what you think.
The Tanaku government will only consider a turnkey bid, right?
The government of Tanaku will consider either turnkey or package bids, but I'm sure that only a turnkey bid has any real chance of success.
So it's quite a simple matter, isn't it? Either we want this contract or we don't.
Right.
And we want it, don't we?
Sure do.
I propose we approach suitable companies to form a consortium.
Well, I second that. If that's the way to get the contract, let's do it that way.
Okay, I'll go along with it. David, give us a quick summary of what's involved.
Right. Well, just to remind you of the details, gentlemen. Faulkner Enterprises will be able to bid for the silicon processing plant at Yatu Beach. We have to find another company to build a coal-fired power station and a coking plant on the west coast near Tanaku City, and another to equip the solar module factory. Of course, we have to agree with these companies on a firm of civil engineers. They will design the buildings and the new town at Yatu Beach.
From the report, Harry, I see we also need a partner who can guarantee a market for Tanako's extra silicon.
You know of a suitable company in Germany, don't you, David?
Right. It would be easier to bring them into the consortium if we also had a German company to build the power station.
Now, hold on a minute, David. We can get a better deal from an American company, can't we?
Not necessarily, Bob. In this case, there's a German company that wants business in the U.S. market. We help them, and in return, they come into the consortium on our terms.
Okay. Tell us something about them.
Well, they're called EAU. They've been building power stations and making power generating equipment for years.
First, grooves are cut into the rotor disc. These grooves will hold the blades, which, at their ends, will be moving at supersonic speed. After heating in a furnace to about 350 degrees centigrade, the rotor discs are placed on the shaft, to which they shrink tightly on cooling. This rotor, when finally assembled, will be 11.5 meters long and will weigh about 180 metric tons. Every rotor is tested in the test bunker at 25% more than its operating speed. And in operation, the centrifugal force on the longest blades will be about 350 metric tons. When at last the completed unit goes on power, 1,300 megawatts are produced from a single shaft. Music in the ears of the power station builder. But what of the men behind the machines?
Well, we don't need to see any more.
Where do their thoughts turn?
Well, that was very impressive, Dr. Lehner. Thank you for showing it to me.
If EAU and Faulkner Enterprises are going to work on the Tanaku project together, Mr. Rose, you must be satisfied that we can deliver the goods.
Oh, I'm sure you can.
My directors are very interested in your proposal to form a consortium.
Good.
They have authorized me to discuss the details of a contract between us.
Yes, so have mine. But before we do that, there's another matter we have to talk about.
Oh?
Well, the reason why we have come to you is not only for the high quality of your product. Well, the fact is, we need your help. We want to persuade another company to join the consortium.
Another company? Which one?
Micro.
And may I ask why Micrel especially?
Well, they've worked with you a lot, I believe. And they've made electronic equipment, including microprocessors, for a long time. Now, the last I heard, they were moving into the manufacture of solar panels. Am I right?
That's right. They moved into that field some time ago.
We want Micro to give Tanaku the know-how so that they can set up their own solar panel factory.
Indeed. And if Micrel does that, what does Micrel get in return?
Micrel is going to need more and more silicon, and Tanaku can guarantee that they will get it.
I see.
It works both ways. Tanaku guarantees to sell to Micrel, and Micrel guarantees a market for Tanaku. As a matter of fact, that part of it is necessary for political reasons.
I understand now, Mr. Rose, but I can't speak for Micrel. You will have to go to them.
Yes, of course. But since your firm wants to build the power station, and since you've already worked with Micrel...
Oh, you want us to approach Micrel together, do you?
I had thought of that.
So for you, it's EAU and Micrel? Otherwise, neither EAU nor Micrel?
Well, yes. That is the situation.
Engel. Karl Engel. Yes, Karl Engel of Micrel. He is the man to approach.
We at Micrel think that by the year 2000, more than 1% of all energy used throughout the world will come from solar cells.
How much is 1% of the world's energy demand, Dr. Engel?
By the year 2000, perhaps 200,000 megawatts.
200,000 megawatts from solar cells?
All around the world, yes. Now you understand why we have gone into production. And we are expanding quickly every year.
Well, in that case, you will need a guaranteed supply of high-quality silicon.
Why, yes.
And Tanaku will be able to supply it, especially if you, in advance, guarantee to buy it.
Guarantee a market for Tanaku? That's a different matter.
Well, it's either that or...
This is a matter which needs a lot of thought. Perhaps we can discuss it later?
Later. That's a good idea. But now, Mr. Rose, I would like to show you this. This is one solar cell. It produces 1 watt of electrical power, enough to make it rotate. See?
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's really good. May I try that?
Please do.
Thank you.
It works in any kind of light. I'll show you. You see?
Yeah, that's great.
Now, this is one of your silicon wafers, Mr. Rose. We treat it so that when light falls on it, some of the layers become positive, some negative. An electric current flows between the positive and negative layers. And these wires on the cell pick up the current.
But it only produces 1 watt of electricity, right?
But that's right. So we wire several cells together to form a panel. A module, as you Americans say, like this. A small electronic device controls the output. There are 36 cells in this panel.
That means you get about 36 watts from one panel. So you will need 1 million or 2 million panels for one power station, don't you?
You need not worry, Dr. Lehner. Solar panels will not replace your power stations, but they're useful where you need small quantities of electricity.
Especially when it's a long way from the usual transmission lines.
Right. Of course, as the panels become less expensive, people will use them more and more.
Well, in that case, I guess you'll be needing a lot more silicon.
I'm afraid we'll have to postpone your appointment with Dr. Azevedo.
But it's very important. Mr. Watanabe of Panzel is arriving from Tokyo today, specially to see him.
Well, Dr. Azevedo has to see the president at 2 o'clock.
When will he be free?
He can see you and Mr. Watanabe at 4 o'clock, if that's convenient.
Yes, all right. 4 o'clock then. Goodbye. Damn.
Yes, Mr. Ferguson?
Oh, nothing.
Mr. Watanabe's plane arrives in 20 minutes.
I know that. I'm leaving for the airport now.
Hi. はい、わかりました。連絡します。それじゃあ。さあ、これとこれだ。Thank you for the use of your telephone.
Not at all. It's a great pleasure to see you back in Tanaku, Mr. Watanabe.
Thank you. You've been very successful.
Well, I've always done my best to promote Panzel and its products.
You did particularly well with the contract for the telephone exchange. And now there's the silicon project.
Thank you, Mrs. Jima.
Mr. Ferguson, I'm rather worried.
Worried?
Yes. Someone is spreading rumors about Panzel and the project.
I haven't heard any rumors.
At the electronics fair in New York, I heard that Panzel was going to try to prevent the government of Tanaku from producing its own silicon.
No, surely not.
Unfortunately, yes. I need hardly say, Mr. Ferguson, that the rumor's entirely untrue.
Of course, it's ridiculous.
It is true that at first Panzel wanted to buy the quartz sand, but we understand why Tanaku wishes to produce its own silicon, and we will not try to prevent them from selling any extra silicon they produce. Now, I would like you to find out if anyone in Tanaku has been responsible for the rumor.
Mr. Watanabe, I can assure you I will do my best to find out.
Good. You see, Mr. Ferguson, a rumor like this reflects on the honor of my company, and therefore on myself.
Don't worry, Mr. Watanabe. This project is too important for both of us to let such a thing happen.
I'm glad you understand. Now, let's talk about our meeting with Dr. Acevedo.
You don't mind walking to the restaurant, do you?
Not at all. It's nice of you to invite me to lunch, James.
Well, I think we need to know each other better, don't you?
Oh, certainly.
Besides, I still need your advice about the silicon process.
Ah.
I understand that David Rose is in Germany. He was talking about forming a consortium.
That's good, isn't it?
Oh, very good for our client. Now, Faulkner will be able to compete with Pansil. Rose obviously heard about the political complications.
Yes, oh, yes, he did. As a matter of fact, I told him.
You what?
I wanted Faulkner to be able to compete with Pansil.
But you can't pass information to one company which is bidding against another.
But I can, James. I did it.
So you talked to Rose?
Yes.
You were meeting him in secret?
I met him in secret once, yes.
May I ask what your relationship is with that man?
I have no relationship, as you put it, with David Rose. And I don't think you have any right to ask that question.
Then why were you meeting him?
And I don't like you casting doubts on my professional integrity.
But, Christine, you must realize...
My only concern is to do as much as I can for Tanaku. And frankly, James, I don't think having lunch together is going to help a great deal.
はい、お分かりいただけましたでしょうか。割合お話は優しかったと思いますが、いかがでしょうかね。いよいよ、フォークナーエンタープライズがコンソーリアムを作って、そしてシリコンの開発に乗り出そうと、こういうわけですね。日本から渡辺さんがやってきまして、そしてどうやらパンソーがもしかしたら、シリコンの工場をタナクで作ることに妨害をかけるんじゃないかという噂があるようだけれども、そんなことは絶対ないと、我が社も協力的であるという立場をはっきりと打ち出しましたね。それからどうやら、クラークとそれからクリスティーンの間にはちょっとした誤解が持ち上がったようです。いつものことですけどもね、こんなところが入っていたと思いますけど、いかがでしょうか。さあ、今日の話の中心になるのは、あれですね、コンソーティアムということなんですけれども、これ後からゆっくりと話をしていこうと思います。いつものようにお客様を一人お招きしておりますので、ご紹介しましょう。アイヴァン・ウッドハウスさんです。
Hello everyone, glad to be back with you again.
Well, welcome to the program again. Thank you very much for coming. 私たちこれからコンソーティアムということについてお話ししますね。ウッドハウスさんはその方面の専門家でいらっしゃいます。で、愛の私でいろいろと質問しようというわけです。言葉はですね、コンソーティアム、こういうものなんですね。どうでしょうね、コンソーティアム。これ私、コンソーティアムと言いましたよ。コンソーシアムという発音もあるようなんですが、I know, how do you pronounce this word?
Well, I think the dictionary gives two pronunciations, but I've always heard it consortium.
Mm-hmm. You say consortium.
Right.
And Mr. Woodhouse, you say?
I would say consortium.
Consortium. じゃあやはりコンソーティアムとコンソーシアム両方あるようですね。どちらでもいいということにしましょう。フィルムの中ではコンソーティアムと言っています。Well, by the way, I think we better ask you a question about consortium. Could you explain a little about the nature of consortium?
Yes, in a large turnkey contract which involves many different specialist skills, it's very difficult for one company to undertake all of this work by itself. So what it does, it calls in specialist companies who each take responsibility for their different aspects of the job, and the companies work together in a group, in a consortium.
コンソーティアムというのはどういうものかということを、専門家のウッドハウスさんにお尋ねしましたけれども、コンソーティアムというのは、いろいろな特殊なことができるような会社がいくつか集まって共同して一つの事業に当たる、そんなようなものを言うんだということですね。これでお分かりいただけたと思いますね。それでは一体どのようにしてコンソーティアムを組むのでしょうか。その辺を聞いてみましょう。What kind of processes are involved in forming a consortium? Any negotiations and discussions?
Well, initially, the main company who's intending to set up the consortium would have discussions, probably very long, detailed discussions with different companies, and they would agree the terms on which they would bid, which company would be responsible for which part of the work. They would agree on how much money they were each going to put in to set up the project, and they would agree on how much profit each company was going to make out of it, so that everybody had an even profit, and that one company isn't making more profit at the expense of the other companies.
コンソーティアムを組むときにはどんなことをするのかという質問をいたしましたけれども、これは非常に長いディスカッションをした挙句にやるんだけれども、どの会社がどのくらいの割合でもって出資をするのか、そして得た利益はどのように配分をするのか、どの会社がどんなことをするのか、そういうのをぐっと取り決めながらやっていくということですね。Well, if they do specific work together, what is the difference between a consortium and a situation in which one company has a contract and which subcontracted to other companies?
Well, that's basically if you have one company, a main contractor, who then subcontracts the work to different companies, that one company, the main contractor, would have total responsibility for the whole project and would be responsible for integrating the various works of the subcontractors. In a consortium, it's quite different. Each company is responsible for its own part of the work and its integration with the other company. So it's a much more even sharing of the responsibility. It's horizontal integration rather than vertical integration.
So a consortium is a horizontal thing?
Yes.
Oh, I see. コンソーティアムというのが共同して事業を行うのであれば、一つの会社が契約をもらって、そして別の会社にその契約を分け与えるという状況とどう違うのかという質問ですが、これは随分違うのだそうですね。コンソーティアムの場合には横の関係が重要になる。つまりみんなが今イコールに働いて、そして責任も共同で負うということですね。で一方もう一つのは縦の関係で、そして一つの会社が契約をもらって責任を持って他の会社に仕事を分けると、こういうことになるんだそうです。いいでしょうか。はい。Have you been involved in a consortium forming yourself?
Yes, I was once when I worked in the Middle East. I worked in a consortium with an English company and a Dutch company.
ウッドハウスさんもご自身でもってイギリス、それからオランダでしょうか、そういうものとのコンソーティアムを作って働いたことがあると、こういうことですね。Well, was the communication of the things difficult or?
Not really, no. We all communicated in English.
I wanted to ask you a question about that because, well, on this program, you know, Mr. Lehner and Engels and Mr. Watanabe speak English so well, and I think it's because this is a BBC production. But I was wondering, in real life, you know, is international business mostly conducted in English this way?
Well, yes, I think probably in most contracts are conducted in international contracts. English is used as a common language. I suppose the exceptions to that would be in South America where Spanish is used, and the other exception would be in France or in French colonies or ex-colonies where predominantly the language used is French.
私の質問はコミュニケーションはうまくいきましたかということです。アイナの質問も同じでして、でもこういうコンソーティアムを作ったりするときに大体英語でやるんでしょうかという質問でしたね。答えはそうだということでした。そして大体英語だけれども南アメリカではスペイン語、フランス語の通じるところではフランス語でやっているようだということですけれども。
Okay, well, one thing is, on my daily life, I found that, you know, there's a tremendous margin for error and misunderstanding, you know, and so I was just wondering, well, if it gets really technical, when you're talking about contracts and technology and stuff, do people bring in an interpreter at that stage, like when you get down to the nuts and bolts, or do you just bumble along?
Well, you can, yes. I think sometimes you can bring in interpreters, but from my experience, when you get down to very detailed technical discussions, then usually the engineers can speak English, because I think it's a fact now that most modern technologies and the latest engineering papers and what have you are all written in English. English is very much used as an international language.
どうやら通訳の必要というのはあまりないみたいですね。英語をみんな話すということですけども。
I think you call that linguistic imperialism. I think that's what it is.
What do you think?
Well, I think everybody uses English because it's so easy.
You think it's easy?
Yes.
まあ誰でも英語を使うのはどうやら英語が優しいからっていうんですけど、そう思いますか？ねえ、一生懸命勉強してるんですよね。まあウッドハウスさんに優しいかもしれませんね。はい、それではですね、まあコンソーティアムのところが分かったところで、コンソーティアムに関して、ローズが他の人とやり取りをしているところがあります。そこをもう一度見ることにいたしましょう。フィルムのちょっと一部分ですがお見せします。
Well, that was very impressive, Dr. Lehner. Thank you for showing it to me.
If EAU and Faulkner Enterprises are going to work on the Tanaku project together, Mr. Rose, you must be satisfied that we can deliver the goods.
Oh, I'm sure you can.
My directors are very interested in your proposal to form a consortium.
Good.
They have authorized me to discuss the details of a contract between us.
Yes, so have mine. But before we do that, there's another matter we have to talk about.
Oh?
Well, the reason why we have come to you is not only for the high quality of your product. Well, the fact is, we need your help. We want to persuade another company to join the consortium.
Another company? Which one?
Micrel.
And may I ask why Micrel especially?
Well, they've worked with you a lot, I believe. And they've made electronic equipment, including microprocessors, for a long time. Now, the last I heard, they were moving into the manufacture of solar panels. Am I right?
That's right. They moved into that field some time ago.
We want Micrel to give Tanaku the know-how so that they can set up their own solar panel factory.
Indeed. And if Micrel does that, what does Micrel get in return?
Micrel is going to need more and more silicon, and Tanaku can guarantee that they will get it.
I see.
It works both ways. Tanaku guarantees to sell to Micrel, and Micrel guarantees a market for Tanaku. As a matter of fact, that part of it is necessary for political reasons.
I understand now, Mr. Rose, but I can't speak for Micrel. You will have to go to them.
Yes, of course. But since your firm wants to build the power station, and since you've already worked with Micrel...
Oh, you want us to approach Micrel together, do you?
I had thought of that.
So for you, it's EAU and Micrel? Otherwise, neither EAU nor Micrel?
Well, yes. That is the situation.
Engel.
というわけですね。Well, Mr. Woodhouse, it seems they're talking about something very subtle. EAU and Micrel, EAU or Micrel. What do you think?
Well, I think, no, it's very interesting. What Rose is getting at there is that the company that Faulkner Enterprises really wants is Micrel. And they're using EAU as the bait to catch Micrel, and they want EAU to use EAU's influence with Micrel to catch Micrel. If they can't have Micrel, then they don't want EAU because they can use an American company for the power.
なるほどね、ローズが言っているんですけどね、結局は EAU はさほど欲しくないのかもしれませんね。実際にはマイクロが欲しい。だけどマイクロを仲間に入れるためには EAU が必要だっていうんですね。その辺が実に難しいところですね。そこで、一方の方が随分難しい顔をしてというわけですが、Is something like this rather common in your world?
Well, this is what I was saying earlier. This is part of the wheeling dealing in the establishment of a consortium. In other words, finding companies that all have an interest and can get something out of a project and getting them to work together. It's difficult to get companies to work together.
なるほどね。こういうことはしょっちゅう行われていることのようなんですね。
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Woodhouse, for sharing just a part of your wealth of knowledge, which I think I might have understood. It's very complicated.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.